When I need answers about anything to do with personal growth, I go straight to my mom and my aunt. Here they are, Priscilla Babin and Tina Gilliat with the sister sauce.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sister Sauce episode number 23. Woohoo! 23. 23 and me. Oh, 23. Oh, if only. I don't think I would want to go back to that age, actually.
Wow, that's all
Uh,
right.
yeah, I kind of like being old. Well, there
We're
are some
grown.
good things about being old anyway.
We're
We're
grown.
wiser. Oh, well, that's right. We're not old, we're grown up. Okay. Well, we are excited for today's episode. It is spring. Spring has sprung, and we are looking forward to sharing some spring things with you today.
Spring cleaning?
Are you excited about spring, Priscilla?
Yes. I
You
like the
are?
warmer weather. I
Me
don't like
too.
all the rain. The rain, I know we need it, but
I don't like the changes. I don't like the seasonal changes that, like that 2 week period where your car is covered in gross pollen and junk.
um,
And
oh,
but
it's more
I
than
do
just
like
doing.
the warmer weather, and it's nice, and it's great weather right now.
You don't like having to turn your air conditioner on during the day and your heater on at night?
No, I don't like that. I don't particularly care for that. I have a little small heater in my office that whenever we're recording and I lean over, it's because I'm adjusting my little heater. I'm either cooking or I'm cold. But yeah, I do like spring though. I'm looking forward to some decent weather.
Mm.
Do you have any hot sauce for us today?
I do. I got a little hot under the collar, as they say, the other day. We like the YouTuber Mr. Beast. He's entertaining. The people he works with are entertaining. And he is a very generous philanthropist. He's done a lot of good, a tremendous amount of good. But I have a little bone to pick with Mr. Beast because the last few videos I've seen, and I asked the kids if they were newer ones or if they were older ones, and there's certain things you can tell by looking at people in the videos, who have aged a little bit, that it's more recent. But he's done these ones lately where he'll do a challenge where he'll have somebody come on. Sometimes it's another YouTuber who's not as rich, as famous, whatever as he is, or sometimes it's an actual follower who subscribes to his one of his channels. And he'll have them come on and participate in a challenge where he'll give them a big giant box of cash, like a really large amount of cash. And then they have to protect the cash while he tries to destroy it with whatever.
Hmm.
And so, in particular, the most recent one I saw, it was a guy who had tried to win cash in this way, and he did not get the cash. It got destroyed, it got burned to cinders. And I don't know if it was fake money for the purposes of the video or if he actually burned real money,
Ugh,
which makes me crazy if it was. But
right.
but the things that were used, all of that stuff, the remains of it was all going to go in the garbage. And it was the same thing with this situation. Instead of a big square of cash, he had a Lamborghini, I think it was, full of cash. And the guy really wanted the car. And so the first thing he had to protect it from was a bunch of like police or military guys with guns up on a scaffolding, shooting these big guns at it. And so he was allowed to buy anything he wanted to protect his money using Mr. Beast's money. So they got all these containers, you know, shipping containers, and he surrounded it with shipping containers, and then he covered the top of it with stuff. I don't know. He like built this fortress around it. And then they shoot it up and use thousands of rounds of bullets shooting at the shipping containers. And then that didn't break the car. So the next thing that they were doing was they were going to drop the car. I might be leaving one out, but there was one of the things was they took the car up with one of these big magnet crane things, like in
Right.
the yard, and they were going to drop it from like 200 feet. So he built a enclosure with his shipping containers he had from the first round, and he bought all of these mattresses and pillows and bouncy castles, which that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars of stuff, and filled that in like a big ball pit almost, but with mattresses and pillows and stuff. And the car survived that. And then the next thing was they were going to drop flaming other cars on top of his car. And he had to build a thing out of the shipping containers to protect the car. And so he was taking actual cars, bringing them up with the magnet thing and setting them on fire and dropping them. And there was at least 3 or 4 cars they dropped that somebody could be driving around. And then they tried to run over his car with a train, and he had to somehow stop the train. And miraculously, he managed to protect this car and he won it. So he was happy at the end. But my problem with it was, what are they going to do with all of these shipping containers and destroyed mattresses and pillows and bouncy castles and stuff? Where is that going to go? It's probably going in a landfill. And if it's not, I need Mr. Beast to make a disclaimer and tell us what he's doing with this stuff, because most of that stuff is not recyclable. And you know, this is just firing me up. I almost wanted to save this for our Earth Day episode next month, but
You were
I'm too
too fired up.
I'm too mad. And
Yeah.
he's not the only one, and he does do a lot of good. So there's some balance there, but there's so many things he does that I'm just like, why? Why are you doing this? You know, and have people destroy things that are like, there was an episode where he wanted to surprise one of his friends' family with a home makeover. And they went in and they spray painted on the walls to be silly. And they like took the dishwasher that was a perfectly good dishwasher out in the field and blew it up or something, you know, and all these things that are perfectly functioning that could go to families who need them. You know, I'm just going,
Yeah,
why
that was
are
my
you
first thought when you were talking about the
wasteful?
money. I get that they do things for views, but if they really burned up money that could have been given to organizations that do
Mhm.
good work.
And he does
Um,
that, he does give. So it makes me think, you know, but he's got so much. Does he have that much that he can burn half of it? You know, it's like, I don't know. I just don't know. And I need to know, I need to know that there is some upside, you know, to all that. And I know
yeah,
he would be one where if he said, don't worry, we're cleaning this stuff up and, you know, we're gonna,
properly
or,
disposing of it.
yeah,
And
properly disposing of it or making sure, you know, whatever. I would trust him if he said that. But there's other YouTubers who follow in his footsteps who probably are not responsible, you
I
know,
don't.
with their content and, you know, dropping stuff off of balconies to see what happens and things. Brand new iPhones, smashing them with a hammer. It's like, why, why?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Anyway.
I definitely see your point. I mean, it's disappointing because I feel like no matter how rich you are, it's still irresponsible to destroy money that could be used to help somebody, even if it's $1, right?
Mhm.
I just don't get that whole wasteful mindset, regardless of how rich you are. And I mean, it goes back to when we were kids and we had plenty of food to eat, and dad didn't want us to throw away anything that was on our plate. And I blame him today for my weight issues, but you should have given me smaller portions then. I love you, Dad, if you're listening from heaven. I used to say to him when I got older, but Dad, the homeless people are more likely to get something out of it if I throw it in the trash and they dig through the garbage and get my leftovers. I said, if I eat it, it's just going to make me fatter.
Yeah, mom's always been, being a college instructor, professor, whatever. She always, you know, was so well spoken, and and my vocabulary was probably a little beyond other kids my age, because she insisted on speaking to me like I was an adult.
Yeah, we all did.
And
Yeah.
I remember one time grandma used to say there's starving kids in Africa or Asia or wherever she used to, and I was always like, can't we send it to them? I How do we get them the food I don't want? And I remember one time I was eating and I was just like, I really did not want to eat anymore, whatever it was. And I looked at mom and I was like, can I please be
I
satiated?
remember that. I remember that from when you were a kid. Oh my gosh. Oh well. So
I
our
had
our
my
YouTubers need to be more more better.
do better.
Oh, better. They need to be better about resources that they use.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Instead of blowing up somebody's perfectly good microwave, they could blow up a giant stack of the junk mail that I keep getting with all the politician stuff on it.
There you go.
They could
And
I
figure
could
out a
save
way
it
to
all.
blow it up into some recyclable material that can be used to build the levees or something.
Mhm.
Sort of
Repair the
like glass half
coastline.
full.
Repair the coastline.
Yep.
Coastal
Yep.
restoration. They could use it.
There you go. All right.
All those big
Well,
postcards.
that was some good hot sauce, sister.
Thank you. It was very hot.
Today we're talking about spring cleaning and organizing. Exciting. Yoo-hoo.
Team is very excited, y'all.
I am. This is like my bailiwick.
Nice.
I love to organize. I like to clean too because I feel so good after I clean, but I mean, I don't necessarily enjoy it while I'm doing it. I enjoy the results of it, but and do I spring clean? I feel like I am a bit obsessive compulsive, and so I feel like my regular cleaning is almost as much as spring cleaning, because as I shared with you, Priscilla, when we were researching, a lot of the things they were saying you should do during the spring cleaning time are things that I do all the time. And I was blown away. Wait, you what? You only vacuum your mattress during spring cleaning? What? But anyway, so let's look at some general tips for spring cleaning and organizing. You want to start us off, Priscilla?
Sure. I will start us off. Okay, so tip number one for organizing and spring cleaning is make sure you have the right tools and the cleaning solutions. Spin brush. Spin brushes are fun. Me and Tina both have spin
Oh,
brushes.
yeah.
I have yours has the long handle too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think we have the same one. I like that long handle because I'm a shorty and I can scrub stuff from a distance and not kill my back.
Mhm.
This a spin mop. That's the one you jam it in the thing and it swishes all the water out. Those are really cool. So
Yeah.
and old toothbrushes. I never throw toothbrushes away. They just go under the cabinet.
Us too.
Good for all those little cracks and crevices that are hard to get in, like on the
Yeah.
sides of your stove top and all of
Mhm.
that. That's where you need those, and then like grout or into the corners in the shower, all those little yucky spots. So you never know what you're gonna need a brush for, a cleaning brush. And I have like a whole set of the kind that are long and skinny and it has bristles all around. So you can get in holes with it, like mine, I use mine most like I have the little really skinny ones for cleaning the reusable drinking straws, like this one. This is one of my aluminum ones, but I use them for other stuff. Like I have two cat fountains for Diana, and they have all these little holes, and especially like the little tubes where the water goes through and stuff, and you need to really, if you don't clean those, you might as well not clean the entire thing because it's all gross. But
Yeah.
all these little brushes and knickknacks and stuff that do stuff, and sometimes they make new things, and so you got to keep up on that too.
Yeah. Well, things as simple as Q-tips,
Yes. I
right?
literally used a Q-tip this morning because I was in a hurry and she was refusing to drink from the one fountain. And I knew it was just the spout was dirty. The rest of it was not too bad. And I real quick just cleaned all the little spout and I took the lid off and cleaned it from the other side with the other side of the Q-tip. Boom.
Yeah. I use Q-tips a lot of times when I'm trying to clean little hard to get to spots in my kitchen. And one of the things that one of the articles recommended, and I didn't include it, was that if you can if you can try to prevent messiness from happening, it's a good idea. But the only suggestion they gave was those guards that you put along the edges of your stove to prevent crumbs from falling down between the counter and the
Mm.
stove, right? And when I clean my stove, a lot of times I'll see crumbs along the edges and I take a Q-tip and go along and clean those crumbs out of there. So yeah, definitely choose. And I'll just bring up, well, you and I both have seen, I saw the spin brush. I had never heard of it, but I saw it on TikTok. And my issue with TikTok was that nobody could agree on what the best brand was. So AJ and I went and Googled and researched because we both felt like it was something we wanted. He usually cleans the bathrooms except for our master bath, which is my department, but he'll clean the other two bathrooms for me. And so the spin brush was something. Oh, and AJ cleans the shower too in our bathroom. So we wanted something to save our backs from bending
Mhm.
over and trying to scrub the shower
We're
floor.
reaching up high.
Right, or reaching up high, exactly. And so we invested in that spin brush, but we did a lot of research first and looked at the comparisons. And you got to be real careful with the comparisons because a lot of times the websites that you are looking at where they compare the different types, the
It's
number
sponsored by one of
one,
them.
you can bet the website was created by that number one, right?
Uh-huh.
So you have to be real careful about that. I learned that from watching some marketing videos, but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And the other thing I wanted to mention that I keep seeing on TikTok, we have the spin mop. I know you have the spin mop. We have the Cedar one, the red one. However, I've seen a new one that I want to get. I don't know who makes it, but it is actually one that will separate the dirty water from the clean water. So when you put your mop in the bucket and spin it, it spins the dirt out of the mop into a different section of the bucket than you're dipping in to wet your mop. I
Nice.
love it. I love it.
Then you're
Keeping
not
the
putting
dirty
wet
from the
dirt back
clean.
on your floor.
Exactly, which is what I feel like I'm doing most of the time. So
Yeah.
I love that. And I told AJ that's our next cleaning investment. And to be honest, it's not that expensive. I could go ahead and order it, but I'm cheap. So, and I just bought my
Yeah.
spin brush and that was a little chunk, but not a
Yeah.
lot, but it was worth it. But definitely, yeah, if you're armed with the right tools that make cleaning easier, then you're more likely to do it, right? So the next tip is use all available space from floor to ceiling and add shelves or hooks if needed. If you don't have space inside of a cabinet, think outside the cabinet and look for a place to put a rack, a pot rack or a wine glass rack. That's what I did with all my wine glasses. I don't have upper cabinets in my wet bar, and I needed a place to put wine glasses that was close to the wet bar. Didn't want to put them in the bottom because it's where we put all our coolers and full bottles of wine that aren't on the rack. I don't drink as much as it sounds like I do, but but I bought a hanging rack to go above my wet bar, and I hang my wine glasses on, and it's really pretty, and it wasn't expensive. And so look for those. You can even buy little wine rack things that will attach to a bottom of the shelf, and you can slide your glasses in. I have one for water goblets on my breakfast, whatever that thing's called, baker's rack.
Mhm.
And AJ just screwed them to the bottom of my baker's rack shelf, and I slide my water glasses on there. I'm all fancy and stuff, you know.
I have a wine glass rack that goes under the upper cabinets that just screws in, and it's plastic. It's lucite or whatever. It's it's clear, and it just has the little grooves, and it fits like 9 total if the bases are small enough.
That's
And
cool.
you got to be careful with that though, because if your upper cabinets aren't real high, which if mine were any higher, I wouldn't be able to reach anything because I'm short. But I keep saying I'm short. I'm not that short. I'm 5'4", but I can't. I still, I don't have the wingspan for some of these things, but I have broken a few of my wine glasses because
Yeah.
I've tried to push stuff under them that was not quite short enough to go underneath. And my crock pot just barely fits under there. But there's been a few times I've gone to and I hide like my big bottle of olive oil. I kind of hide behind them on the one side, and it can fit there easily enough. But if I am too fast, it's like crash. So you do have to use some caution with
Oh
those.
yeah, my wine glass rack is hanging by chains, and occasionally I'll go to put a glass back or take one out, and it'll start swinging, and the glasses start clinking together, and I'm like, oh, don't break my wine glasses. These are
It's
good
like wind
glasses.
chimes,
My wine glasses are like
wine
huge.
chime.
All right. Well, but yeah, definitely look for space. You can actually use your cabinet doors too, but that's a later one. So I don't want to get ahead
Thanks
of
for your
myself.
tips. That's true. That's true. And number 3, don't forget the walls. Add magnetic wall boards and put magnetic tape on items to take advantage of wall space, or add pegboards for additional storage. Also, look for shelves and hooks that can be used on walls to store items. That's if you have the wall space. You have to
Yeah,
have the
for
wall
sure.
space. But if you have unused wall space, that's a good way to use it. And there's a lot of things that you can do with magnets now, that a lot of things that come ready to be, stuck up on
Yeah.
those
Well,
magnet boards and stuff.
the one thing that I saw was on one of the shows, the lady had no place to put like all her makeup, and there was a vanity, but the vanity didn't have drawers, and
Oh,
she said she didn't like putting the stuff in the drawers anyway. She wanted it out where she could see it all. So what they did was they made a mirror, and they had the magnetic board on either side of the mirror, and they put little magnets on the bottom of all her makeup. Even her like eye pencils had a little magnet on them, and everything was stuck to the magnetic board. It was so cute. And I thought, that's kind of cool. I like that because I put everything in a caddy and it gets all gunky and everything.
I don't have any drawers in my vanity either. Hopefully that will be changing soon, but
Yeah. I don't have a vanity anymore. I used to, but it was standalone. And
oh
when we
well, I'm
were,
talking about like the bathroom cabinets.
oh, okay.
I don't have it. My bathroom cabinets just open up into a vast
They're
nothing.
cabinets, no drawers. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to get a new
And
vanity. Yeah.
yeah, Garbage vanity.
So use drawer organizers. That's a really good thing. And we have some tips about where you can get those and how they can be used. But any kind of way that you can organize things in drawers makes it so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, and I gotta say, I bought these new little, what do you call them? I want to say Tupperware. They're not Tupperware. They're just little dish
Rubbermaid.
things, little dish type things. I bought a whole set and they came with like long skinny ones and bigger rectangle ones, but they're short.
Mhm.
So they fit, and Clover redid the whole junk drawer, not drunk drawer. Maybe I need a drunk drawer. The whole junk drawer though, so everything is sorted into these little dishes and they just fit where almost the
Perfectly, huh?
whole thing is full, and there's like one little rectangular slice of the drawer where we left open for like those click lighters and stuff because they're really long and they wouldn't fit in one of those little dishes. But everything else is in a little dish. All the batteries and the battery tester is one little dish. All of the like tape measure and scotch tape, and glues thing and stuff like that. That's spare keys have their own little dish. Everything's got its own little dish. So when you pull open the junk drawer, you just go, okay, which logically little dish is that item that I'm going to look for going to be in. And if it's not there, you close the drawer. It's like magic. There's no hunting. There's no emptying the entire drawer looking for something. I love it.
I love it too.
Yeah.
I get excited over stuff like that.
Our
Okay, where
next one
was
after our drawers
it?
is to use the inside of the cabinet doors for storage of recipes, grocery lists, etc.
Yep.
And that's another good use with the magnets. You could put a magnet board inside your cabinet door and stick your spices in little magnetic things. I've seen that. I've seen people
Yeah.
do that.
Or you could take like, those binder sleeves, like if you are turning in some type of report or something, you can slide papers into the
Uh-huh.
sleeves and put them in a binder. And so every page is covered with this plastic. Well, you can take those and tape them or double stick tape them to a cabinet door and just slide little pieces of paper into them. So if you do your bills in the kitchen, put one of those things on inside of a cabinet door and put all your pending bills in it. I have an office and I love having an office, but if you need to make space for that kind of stuff, you can even set up a kitchen cabinet that has all your paying stuff, and you can take advantage of that inside the
Mhm.
cabinet door space. But on the inside of our cabinet door in the kitchen, I have little charts that talk about measuring. So how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon, how many tablespoons are in a quarter of a cup, and so on. And I
Oh,
have
that's
that
nice.
on the inside of one cabinet door. I have recipes that we use often. I definitely use the inside of the cabinet door.
Good job.
Yeah, I am a freak about organizing. All right. The next one
Said it.
is what?
I said, you said it.
Oh, I know. Yep, I said it. So the next one is sort of like get out of your paradigm, right? We get stuck in these things where we are doing something and we don't push the envelope, right? And so we've done this we're trying to put stuff into a cabinet and it's not fitting right, and we don't think maybe if I lift the shelf up and just move the pegs up, and sometimes it's like, oh, it hits you. And then
If you
you,
can.
right, if you can. A lot of kitchen shelves in cabinets, or you just take the shelf out, move the pegs up, and you can raise a shelf, right? So if you have taller items and shorter items, then you can put all the taller items on the bottom and put all the shorter items on the top. Whereas if you split the cabinet in the middle, you have plenty of space left over after you put the smaller items, but then not enough for the taller items. And I just went through that with my medicine cabinet. I have a couple of larger bottles. You know, I'm a freak about my teeth. And I have like a rinse that I use for fluoride rinse that I use at night. And I have mouthwash, and they're both in these huge bottles. And I had them on a separate shelf, and I had to keep going and getting them off the separate shelf in the bathroom instead of out of my medicine cabinet because they wouldn't fit. And then I realized I have all these little tiny items like face cream and things on one shelf, and there was this huge gap. And I said, I just need to move that shelf up for those smaller items, and I could fit my washers, my mouthwash, and my fluoride rinse in this cabinet. And I moved it, and I was so proud of myself. But that's the thing. Move shelves within a cabinet if you have to make the space more
Yeah.
appropriate.
That's a good tip. Yeah, my struggle with my kitchen, I have the cabinets that are on either side of my sink where I keep my dishes. On the one side is all dishes and coffee mugs, and the other side is like other cups and glasses. And then like at the top shelf is like these random serving dishes that I never use, but I hang on to because
Yeah.
they're, yeah. But those ones I can move, but none of the shelves in any of the other cabinets are movable. They're built in. And it makes me crazy because I have so many things that have this much more height that they need to fit in the cabinet. And so where are they? They're stuck up in my pantry where they're really inconvenient to get to. And it just drives me crazy. Someday, new kitchen, not today.
After the new bathroom, you'll get a new
Yeah.
kitchen.
And there's other stuff you can use to, which we're about to talk about anyway, to make some of your space more usable in your cabinets. Check the dollar store for storage and organizing solutions such as Lazy Susans, bins, cups, and racks. Repurpose existing items and turn them into storage solutions. And that's something we've been trying to do, like with the little cups in the drawer, little
Yeah.
containers. But also we got a rack for pans because I just was nesting all my pans inside of each other. So if I wanted one of the bigger ones, I had to take everything out.
Yeah.
And it weighs a lot when you start stacking up all those metal pans and pots. And that's hard on the elbows and the shoulders and everything, trying to dig those things out, especially if your cabinets are really deep and
Mhm.
or low down. So I got this little rack, and it is kind of awkward where it is because the shelf height that's in depth that's in that cabinet is not great, but it does just barely fit. And I'm able to stick my frying pans. I have various sizes of frying or saute pans, and I can fit all of them in that rack. And it got them out of the other cabinet where they were jammed in with my pots. So now I have more space for my pots. I have 4 different sizes of pots. And so it's spread out a little more. So it's easier for me to just grab what I want. So
Oh,
I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I had an issue. I have a lot of coffee cups that people know I love coffee, so they give me a lot of coffee cups. And I was breaking them constantly because when we would wash the dishes, we could never fit all of the coffee cups on one shelf, and we would stack them on top of each other, and they weren't balanced
Yeah.
well. And I'd go to pull one out, and 3 cups would fly out, and 2 would break, right? And
Mm.
so we invested in these little shelves that fit within your kitchen cabinet, and it's just basically a graded vinyl coated shelf that has little legs, and you just open the legs up and stick it in your cabinet. And I don't know, I think it was like $5 for 2 of them, but they were so cool because I was able then to put coffee cups on top of the rack and coffee cups below the rack. And now I am not trying to put cups on top of each other. And
Mm.
I bought a few of those,
I might
and they
need to
work.
get one of those.
Oh, yes. And they're great in the pantry too for like stacking canned foods so that you're not stacking cans on top of each other that fall all over the
Yeah,
place.
I got something similar for the kids' bathroom. The way the way the counter and cabinets are in my kids' bathroom, it's a little bit better storage wise than the one in my bathroom. My bathroom has nothing. Like you open these double doors on each side and it's just this open canyon. So I have all those little plastic drawer organizers, and those are handy for a while. But if you notice over time, they start getting stuck and they're hard to open. And the way the cabinet has sort of a lip around the edges, so when you go to open it and it gets stuck and you can't pull the little drawers out all the way, it drives me nuts. But my kids' bathroom has like two two big drawers on each side. So they're a lot more organized than mine is. But kids have a lot of stuff. And especially when you also want to leave, if you've got two bathrooms that are kind of far apart, you don't want to have to tote your cleaning solutions back and forth and whatnot. So
Right.
you keep, you might want to keep some toilet cleaner and soap refill or, Drano or whatever, these big bottles of stuff. And so you've got a variety of stuff between all the kids' medicines and hair thingies and Clover's got nail polishes and makeup in there and you have multiple hair brushes and whatnot for all the kids. And when I had 4 kids living at home, we had so much crammed in there. But they've got 2 big cabinet doors at the bottom, and there was a big expanse in between with the 4 drawers. And that needed to be more functional. And I got this thing off of Amazon that's a shelf it's expandable. So you can fit it to your space. So if you don't have the space for a big wide shelf, you can squish it down. It's the rods fit inside of each other. So you can squish it down, and it's 2 levels. And when we put that in there, now you look in there and you still have to kind of look around to find stuff because it's spread out, but it's all visible.
Yeah,
Nothing is hidden anywhere anymore. So that's
that's
been
awesome.
really handy. I like that one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I also like the little uh well, they're not baskets, but they're these bins that you can put cans in, so that there's ones for soft drinks too, but you lay your cans on the side and they kind of roll forward. So if you
Oh,
fill
yeah,
one with corn, for example, you have 8 cans of
right.
corn, you put all your 8 cans of corn, when you take one out, they roll forward. I love those kind of things. We've got a lot of that in our pantry. And I will say too that you can get a lot of these bins and cups and racks and containers and organizers for drawers and all at the Dollar Tree or other dollar stores, Dollar General or Family Dollar. However, there are a lot of options too on Amazon. And when I redid my pantry recently, I bought a lot of storage containers from Amazon. They were not cheap, but they were not super, super expensive either. I bought one package deal that was, I want to say, 30 containers. It was 5 different sizes, and I got 6 of each. And I think it was roughly 20 bucks, 25
That's
bucks.
not bad.
It wasn't bad at all. And then I bought cereal containers, and the cereal containers for 4 of them cost me almost the same, like the 50 bucks or whatever it was. But it was worth it because they're very sturdy, they're clear, and they can be put in the dishwasher. And so I got rid of all the cereal boxes that were in my cabinets and dumped the bags into these things. It's much more likely to get sealed properly because we have one of those sealers, but it doesn't always work as well. And sometimes it doesn't, like the cereal bags, or if you cut off too much of the cereal bag, then it's hard to seal it. This way, we use these containers, they're airtight. We just pop the little
Mhm.
top open, dump our cereal, and close it and stick it back in the cabinet. Everything has labels on it. And I will share that I shared with you the other day that I put labels on some baskets, and they were cloth baskets, and so the labels kept falling off. But then I had the brilliant idea to use name tags that we had left over from something that come in the clear plastic sleeve and have the little clip, to use those as labels on those baskets, because there is a little place I can clip them. So I'm all excited about that. I haven't actually done it yet, but I am looking forward to doing that for my coffee baskets, because I have baskets with all the different coffee pods in them. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, there's another thing that if you don't have a lot of money to invest in storage things, you can recycle other storage containers that you've bought that things you bought came in. So
Yeah.
keep like our brother keeps buying those cheese balls for jelly. I I repurposed. I cleaned it. We have lost our recycling, which I think I have mentioned on here. We lost our recycling program, and I had this huge like dragon's keep of recyclables in my one room that I don't know what to do with. And I asked the kids, they cleaned one cheese ball container. It was spotless and clean, and I took the label off, and it was just this nice plastic. I mean, it's not fancy, but it's practical and it has an airtight lid, and or at least mostly airtight. And I showed the kids, I'm like, what can I do with this? And the kids were like, you have all I had all of this cat food. I take care of the neighborhood cats and all this cat food in a big plastic garbage bag because in order to buy enough food for them, I have to buy these big bags. And I had no container large enough to fit the leftovers. And they're like, if you start collecting those cheese ball containers and filling those, you won't have to have a big garbage bag that could get torn through by accident or whatever and spill
Sure.
food everywhere. So
That's
recycle.
awesome. Yes. And do you know, we had similarly, we buy M&Ms. Olivia loves M&Ms. It's her treat that she loves to eat. And we buy them at Sam's, and they come in a rather large plastic container. That's really a great canister, and it has the screw top lid. The label comes off fairly easy, and even if it doesn't, you can cover it up with something else. And I had been saving a bunch of those because I thought, someday I might come up with a gift project for family members and use these containers for a gift, right? Well, that never worked out, but I had, like, over several years, I had saved about 30 of these containers, no kidding. And I had them in boxes in the garage. And AJ and I were cleaning out the garage, and I said, I'm never going to use these containers. But I put a note in our neighborhood group on Facebook and said, hey, does anybody have any use for these empty M&M containers? They're really great for storage of different things. I just don't know who to give them to. And a lady in the neighborhood said, I could use about 5 of them. And then another lady wrote and said, I'll take whatever she doesn't need. And they came and got these things from me. And the one lady that came and got the bulk of them said to me, I'm a teacher, and this is perfect to organize some of the little toys that the kids play with in the classroom. She said, I can put different color Legos in them and crayons. And she was all excited, and she already had plans of how she was going to cover them with contact paper and make fancy labels. And she was tickled to pieces. So yeah, definitely you can recycle that kind of stuff. You can also recycle old bowls and plates and cups and different types
Baskets.
of canisters or baskets and use those for storage. They work out great. The little cups and plates and saucers are great for drawer organizing too.
Mm.
So yeah, definitely. The next one is to watch videos on YouTube for some great ideas on how to use the items for storage. So if you search Dollar Tree organizing ideas on Google and then click the videos tab of the Google search bar, oh my goodness, there are so many awesome videos with ideas about organizing. I highly recommend it. But I also was told about a blog that's on the Dollar Tree website. We were in Dollar Tree, and I was buying all these little organizing things. And the girl that was helping my husband find something said, I got all excited and he was laughing. And she said to me, you should look up the blog on the Dollar Tree website. And I said, what is it, like somebody started a blog about Dollar Tree? She said, no, it's actually on the Dollar Tree website. And I went and looked when she told me about it, and I couldn't find it, and I gave up. But then when we were looking for ideas for today for recording the podcast, I searched their website for organizing ideas, and it was sort of buried, but I found it. And then once I knew what it was called, I was able to zoom in on how to get to it. So I'll share with you that it's called the Value Seeker blog. And it's not just organizing tips. I guess that's what threw me off too. It's called the Value Seeker blog. And what it is it's a blog on the Dollar Tree website, dollartree.com. You go to all departments, and then all the way at the bottom of the all departments menu, which is on their homepage, you'll see Value Seeker blog, and it's green, like the green color of Dollar Tree dollars, right? But the Value Seeker blog has different categories, and one of them is organizing tips. But there are other ones too, like decorating ideas and cooking essentials or whatever. I'm just making up some different categories, but it's like all these different categories. So if you're looking for food that you can buy from Dollar Tree and how you can turn that into great recipes, they probably have recipes on there or whatever. Great little place to go. Definitely check that out and look at the videos on YouTube for Dollar Tree organizing. Those are amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do, number 9, is color code and or sort your items by groups and label everything. So that just helps you make sure you know where things are. It makes it quicker and more convenient when you're looking for things.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I have one of those label makers and I love it. Except for when the labels peel off of my baskets and fall on the floor. I'm working on it. All right. The last thing on our top 10 list for general tips is remember to think about organizing in such a way that your spaces are functional. So, for example, if you're organizing coffee items, they should all be near the coffee pot, right? You don't want it to just look good. You want it to be functional and easy to use and easy to maintain as well. And I was sharing with you, Priscilla, I think when I redid my pantry, that was my thing. A lot of the organizing tips that I saw on shows and articles that I read on blogs and magazines, some of them were really good, but they weren't functional because I thought, yeah, I could take this stuff out of that container and put it in a plastic container, but then it would be harder to open and get to or whatever. So I strove to do things that looked good, but also were easy to use. I didn't want, if a container was perfectly sufficient and had its own lid and everything and came from the store with labels on it, I felt like there's not a reason for me to dump stuff out of this container into a clear plastic container just so it looks prettier. I tried to go with what was more functional. And so my pantry might not be as beautiful as some people's, but it works really well for us. And
yeah, you're not going to have people coming over and looking in your pantry, you know.
right.
I mean, maybe somebody's mother-in-law. I don't know. Mine wouldn't do
that. Well, the Home Edit, that show, The Home Edit, I might have mentioned it before. They have like a system they do where they go in and they help people purge stuff. They call it editing, I think, is where they take out stuff you don't need and then they reorganize and do all that stuff. Well, I love that show and they have a lot of great tips and you can look for their website. I think it's thehomeedit.com. But one of the things that that they would do is if they had overflow of items. So for example, if you have cereal in all the cereal containers, but then you have a husband like mine who buys 4 boxes of the cereal because it's on sale or because he knows we'll go through it quickly, then you have all these boxes left over and what to do with them, right? So their solution was always to have like an overflow area with bins, and you'd have these bins that you'd put like maybe on the bottom shelf or whatever. And for me, I needed all of my pantry shelves. The bottom underneath my lowest shelf is where I keep like trash bags and things like that. So I didn't want to use that space with overflow. And I had space behind all my brand new pretty containers that wasn't being used, because if I shoved all of that all the way back, there was a lot of space in the front. So I moved everything forward and I put the extra boxes of cereal behind other things. And so again, it's all about function and what works for you and how you can best utilize the space.
Yeah. I think another thing to keep in mind as far as making areas of your house functional is lighting. And I've noticed I've really what has something that stuck out to me a lot when I'm looking at, the tips for making changes, things that are good ideas. One of the things is always the lighting changes, like putting the underneath the cabinet LED strips or the
Right.
stick up lights, and a lot of those little puck lights and stuff are magnetic too.
Yep.
And they make them some of them are rechargeable now. They have rechargeable ones that you just plug in with the USB, and you don't have to plug them in long, and they're good to go for hours and hours. And I got some for my kids that actually they're smaller. They're like about the size of half a baseball, maybe a little bigger than that. And then you charge them up, and they have a remote, and you can do, like the little LED strips that you can buy to decorate things. They have all the colors, a great variety of color that you can change them to, including every different like brightness of white or soft white light. And that's another functional thing. Was my son wants his room redecorated now that he's going into his teenage years, and he has a lamp, and I had a place I wanted to put the lamp, but there's no outlet. So I found these little light discs that it has a light bulb pluggy thingy. I don't know what to call it. The base of the light, what you would have on a light bulb, with a little flat platform, and it doesn't. You don't want to plug the lamp in while you've got that in there. I don't know what would happen because it is metal, but it screws in like a light bulb, this little platform, and the disc light magnets to it. And then you use the remote to turn it on and off. And then when it's low, you can take it away from there and go plug it in and then put it back very easily.
Ah,
You just pull it off, and
so you're using the lamp itself as a decorative item, but then you're not using it plugged in. You're using
right,
this battery rechargeable light.
right. So it can
That's
sit on his desk,
interesting.
and there's no, his desk, putting a desk in the closet. There's no plug in the closet to plug, no
Ah,
outlet to
gotcha.
plug it in. I have seen a lot of the people recommending these though in their little demo. They actually take the lamp and cut the cord off. I'm not doing that.
Oh, no, because then your lamp's not any good
Yeah,
anymore.
you can't, if you wanted to go back to using it in an outlet, you couldn't. So I'm not doing that. I'm gonna hide the cord behind the desk. But now he's got a lamp that he can use while he's doing his homework at the desk. And I don't have to worry about running extension cords all over the place or anything like that. So that's really cool.
That's
Really neat.
awesome.
And plus they showed if you find where it depends on what your walls are like, but they actually were able to stick it up on a wall where there was a nail in the stud behind or in the, where the stud was, where the nails happen to be. If you
Right.
have a convenient spot like that and you want to stick a light like that there, you can. It's a very strong magnet. So those are,
Wow. I love that. That's awesome. Well, we also had some spring teen cleaning tips that we got from a few different websites. And I think we probably should go through these quickly, Priscilla, since we've been very loquacious about our organizing tips, which doesn't surprise me since that's That's my bailiwick. We enjoy that so much. You want to start with the first one?
Okay. Lean into your cleaning personality. Some people are stress cleaners while others are chore procrastinators. Identifying your cleaning personality is the first step to developing a plan or a routine that works for you rather than against you. Be an angry I'm an angry cleaner. Be an angry
I
cleaner and
am
channel your
too.
rage into cleaning. That will make your elbow grease 10 times stronger. By all means, use this excess energy. It's better than punching the person you're angry at in the windpipe, but don't reserve all your cleaning for times of disquiet. You don't want to depend on being angry to clean your house, nor do you want to associate cleaning with rage.
Yes, yes, yes. And I should say these that we're given right now are from realsimple.com, and they have a whole list of 40, and we're not going to give you all 40, but we picked our favorites. So the next one is mix up your own all natural cleanser. So if you're eco-friendly and you want to stay that way, try to avoid using harsh chemicals and instead mix up your own batch of cleanser using natural products. And the website has, we're going to put all these links in our show notes, but the website does have a recipe there, but there are so many different ones you could use because not every even natural recipe might be good for you. Especially I'm allergic to a bajillion things. So I can't, my skin will break out if I use lemon juice and it gets on my skin. So I'm citrus, I can't handle citrus fruit, but there are plenty of recipes out there. So look for those.
The next one is break cleaning into chunks. Use a cleaning checklist and assign yourself 2 or 3 minute tasks a day. 2 or 3 10 minute. Did I say 10? 2 or 3 10, not 2 or 3 minute. 2 or 3 10 minute tasks a day. Alternately, you might want to do a 1 30 minute task a day or something like that. I've been trying to do that with my chore list too, is making a little thing.
Yeah.
Set your phone timer and start cleaning and stop once it goes off. And you did what you said you would do, and it wasn't too bad, and you can check it off and be done and go relax until the next day.
Yeah, yeah. And they actually have a checklist on the one article that we found. So it'll be in the links, it'll have it in the links. Okay. But the other thing I wanted to add, I know I said we were going to go through this quick and I'm going to wind up making it longer, but I just wanted to say, I am not one of those people that can do like 30-minute chunks. I feel like I have to really get into it. And
Yeah, that's how I am. You're a
yeah,
marathon cleaner.
right, right. So I don't know. I was kind of like iffy on that one, but I said it might work for some people. And the other thing is do something because when you're cleaning, you can listen to music or a podcast or a book, an audio book or whatever. That's what I do. When
Multitask.
AJ and I were cleaning during the holidays, preparing for Christmas, we put Christmas music on, right? And but we had Siri or Alexa, right? We had Alexa play Christmas music for us and we turned it on max volume. And so we were dancing all over the house cleaning for Christmas. But I also love listening to podcasts while I clean. I listened to the Office Ladies yesterday while I loaded my dishwasher. So,
Oh,
all right. So
well, you
these
might be listening to us right now cleaning.
There you go. Office ladies, shout out to you. We love you. All right. Don't miss anything. So these are, I'm just going to go through this list really quickly. These are some of the things they listed that you shouldn't miss out. But as I mentioned previously, I'm like, this is some of the things that I do all the time. And I was a little concerned that some people only
They're
do it once
probably
a
all
year.
things I never do, so it balances out.
All right. So your mattresses, your ceiling fans, which I admit that's a once a year thing for me. If that, I hate that. Washing or dry cleaning your curtains, I hate that. Cleaning your recyclable grocery bags. Priscilla and I are into recyclable grocery bags now because it's wasteful and also not good for the environment to keep using all these plastic bags. And unless you can turn them into a recycling place that finds a way to reuse them, which there are a few, I believe. Don't forget to clean your cell phone in your case, your hair brushes and combs. I have to do that constantly. Your makeup brushes and caddies. Wipe down kitchen cabinets and clean all appliances. And they're talking all appliances, like they get into the list where you clean your toaster oven, your microwave, your dishwasher, your refrigerator, every kind of appliance you can imagine, your coffee maker where you run the vinegar through it. And you need to like look up how to properly do that with some of these items. Clean your cutting boards, freshen up your sink by dropping lemon rinds into the garbage disposal, wash your walls, not going to happen. Wash your washing machine. We have actually done this, but we leave the door of our washing machine open so that it doesn't get a bad smell, and that works pretty well. Degunk your shower head, dust your house plants. I only have a couple of house plants, but they're not even real. So especially if they're fake dust. And then pressure wash your driveway.
And we got some outdoor ones too. For lawn care, these are from glad.com.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
For lawn care purposes, know your grass type. I have no idea what my grass type is. If your grass is a cool season variety, it will have moderate growth spurt in the spring, so you'll want to focus on strengthening it for the summer. And warm season grasses don't start growing until after the spring frost. We don't have any frost here. Our grass just grows year round, so I think we don't
I
have to
think so
worry so much.
too. Our weather is different here and the humidity and everything makes it different. Although I think there's like a period in the dead winter where it's really cold that we can go for like a month or two without cutting the grass, but then we got to start again. But as Priscilla mentioned, if you start cutting it too early, then it will kill the grass. So what they recommend, the second tip, is that you wait to start mowing your lawn again in the spring until the weather has been at least 40 degrees or higher consistently, and your grass has grown at least 2 to 3 inches. So for you people that actually live where there are seasons and don't have just summer all year like us, no, that's not true. But our weather here is so weird. But definitely, if you're in a colder place, wait till the weather is consistently above 40 before you mow your lawn, and you should be able to tell that your grass has grown at least a couple of inches before you cut it.
Yeah. Wait to fertilize. You should wait to fertilize your lawn until it starts to show signs of life, such as new growth or greenness, and then make sure you're using the right type of fertilizer for your grass type.
Okay, so we both admitted that we have not fertilized our lawns. Oh well, maybe our lawn guys do it and we just don't know
Maybe
it,
they
right?
do. Maybe they do. I don't know
I
what
have
my
to
guy
ask my
does.
lawn guy if he
I don't know what he
fertilizes.
does, but all I know is my next door neighbor's got weeds buku and mine doesn't. So whatever he's doing, I'm glad I'm paying him well.
There you go. Love it. And you should, like, in order to stimulate growth, you need to clean all the debris and the leaves and fallen branches. You need to pick all that up after the winter's over and the spring's approaching, and you want to clear the way.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to rake leaves. I have a holly tree. I get the occasional twig. Stupid berries all over my driveway, but that's all I got. I got no trees, so I don't have to worry about that. The next one is to clean and sharpen your garden tools and tune up your lawnmower by changing the oil, air filter, spark plug, unless it's an electric one. And then don't forget to sharpen the blades on your lawnmower, or replace them if it depends on what kind of lawnmower you have. But yeah, those garden tools, if you leave, if you're cutting anything, especially if it's still green and you're getting the plant gunk and all on there, it really gunks them up if you don't at least wipe them down. Some people oil them, like rub machine oil or whatever on the blades to keep them snippy. I still haven't trimmed my sweet olive bush. I need to do that.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't even know what any of the bushes or plants are in my yard. I'm terrible at that kind of stuff. Then the next thing is to remove thatch, which kind of goes along with the debris, removing leaves and debris and fallen branches. Thatch is the little small pieces of dead grass. And so you remove those by raking with a firm rake. And otherwise, what happens is the grass that is not dead will die if it's covered in thatch, because it blocks the sunlight and the air and the moisture from getting to the grass that's still viable and could grow. So if you remove the thatch by raking with a firm rake, then your grass is more likely to be healthy and grow better.
The next one is speaking to me.
Oh.
Prune your plants, flowers, and shrubs. I know. Removing dead bits. It's also a good idea to look up each plant type and know how to properly care for it. And there's different ways, especially like rose bushes are sort of particular. There's a certain way to trim rose bushes. Like a certain place where you cut, like I know, I used to have rose bushes. They got sick with some kind of black spot situation and then they died. But they weren't very pretty when they were still surviving. They survived deep freezes and everything else, and then something contaminated them. I don't know. And I lost my little rose bushes. But I know when I was trimming them, there was some rules about you look for like a little knot in the branch or whatever, and you're supposed to trim just above that or just below that. I forget what it is because I haven't had to do it in a while. But those types of things are important. A lot of times we decide we're going to go and do something and we just hack away at it. And I've done that before. And it's a good idea to do your homework first.
Oh yeah, for sure. Don't, did you mention that app?
No, there is an app you can get that actually identifies different types of plants.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to get that. It's very handy, at least, especially to figure out what you have in your own yard. And God forbid, should you have something pop up and you don't know what it is and you don't know if it's gonna give somebody a rat, you should probably scan it, find out.
Yeah, I should have done that with some of my plants that I have
But
butchered
it
and
works
killed.
with potted plants too, yeah.
Yeah, yes, for sure. Okay, well, those are great tips. And then we had some other resources that we're going to share in our show notes. One is from Good Housekeeping, and it's an article called 100 Best Organizing Tips for the Tidiest Home Ever. It's really worth checking out because for each tip, there's a picture. And for me, that helps spark other ideas, right? I look at this picture and I say, oh, I could do that, but I could do it differently. And so look for that article.
And there's another article from Reader's Digest called 31 Expert Spring Cleaning Tips for Your Cleanest Home Ever. So you can check that out on Reader's Digest. And in addition to those 31 expert tips, the article includes some really cool spring cleaning checklists that you can print out. So we'll put those in the show notes too.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of when I mentioned it earlier. I thought it was in the Glad article or whatever it was, but it actually was on the Reader's Digest. It's this real fancy looking checklist that you can print out, and I can see me laminating it, reusing it.
I can see it. And putting it inside one of your kitchen cabinets.
Yes, exactly. That's perfect. Good idea,
I was
Marcella.
listening.
Yes, you were. Well, that's awesome. So everybody needs to go watch all the videos and look. And if y'all find anything really cool that we haven't mentioned, send it our way because we love this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you have any marinade today, Miss Tuna?
I do. It's totally off of what we've already talked about. It's not related in any way. What I want to talk about is communication overload. It's what I feel I have been experiencing for the last couple of weeks. And we talked about it. I am a talker. I love to talk. And other people will call me. Last week, I got on like 3 calls in a row where people were calling me just to ask something or whatever. And we ended up having these long conversations. And then I felt like I had abused their time and kept apologizing. But I really enjoyed talking to them. So I was torn. But also, I didn't get done. I normally have my schedule that I do certain things on days of the week. And my stuff that was supposed to get done that day totally did not get done. And then it hit me that I do it to myself because I feel such an obligation to respond to people when they text me or call me. Because even if I don't answer the phone when somebody calls me, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to have to call them back. So I might as well just answer the phone and get it over with. And it's not that I don't want to talk to the person, it's just that it's not convenient. And this is truly Marinade and not it's food for thought because I still don't even know what the solution is. It's just something to think about. Do we allow ourselves to be so available to communicate with everyone that wants to communicate with us that we are not getting our priorities straight and we're becoming overwhelmed? And so I'm not sure what the answer is because I don't want to ignore people when they text me or call me. I think that my relationships with people are way more important than any task that I need to get done. But then by the same token, there are some tasks that have to be done, like loading the dishwasher or doing the work that I'm getting paid to do for different clients. And so, yeah, I'm not sure what the solution is. I'm thinking about it, but I just wanted to give y'all some food for thought in that there are some occasions where you have to just not be available. And it's not to say that you can't text the person back and say, hey, I got your message. I'll get back with you as soon as I'm available. I'm just picturing myself in these situations right now where somebody's texting me and I'm at the doctor's office and I'm getting a phone call and I should be in the moment of what I'm doing. Unless I'm sitting around my house doing nothing, I should be focused on what I am doing. And I just have this overwhelming urge to respond instantly. And I think it's getting the best of me.
Maybe it's a time management thing. Maybe you need to have office hours,
Yeah,
like pastor does.
that's true.
Have certain times that are your I'm free to communicate times. I don't know.
Whenever anybody texts
We
me, it
have
could
to figure out
automatically
how
send them
often
a
they are.
message that says, hi, I value your communication, but you are reaching me during office hours. Please contact me between blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Then I put the obligation back on them, the onus back on them, right? How's that?
That sounds
Yeah,
good.
that's good. I'm going to work on that.
Might need a disclaimer in there. I probably really want to talk to you, but maybe not.
Yeah.
In case it's a bill collector or the insurance
Oh,
agent. That's
oh
a
well.
story for another time.
That's a whole nother show, as they say. Wow. Everybody, be sure to check out our show notes for all the links to the articles we found and to that great checklist we talked about. Next week, we're going to be releasing our podcast on Easter Sunday. How
Easter.
cool is that?
Yay.
Not exactly sure what we'll focus on, but it'll have something to do with Easter.
Something like that.
But until then, make yourself a priority.
And take care of you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to keep up on all the latest sauce. See you next time.